Y'all come on in here. We got some more information. Anton Daniels, his wife Rita, tells it all. We missed this one as well. We're going to get into it because Rita did an interview and we missed it. And she told us exactly who her husband was. Get y'all snapped. This going to be a minute. Like the video, let's get into it.
Got the scoop on lock, spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell 'cause the tea don't stop.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh?
Yes. Don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock, spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell 'cause the tea don't.
Okay, y'all, let's jump right in. So I was able to find a video that Rita did. It was about four years ago. So we're going to get into this video and we're going to react to another video because you guys have been wanting me to react to another video, which it kind of ties into now what I want to discuss. So let's kind of get into, wait a minute, before we get into this video, y'all got to hear this or y'all got to see this.
From my phone number, I gave it to him.
Oh, wait a minute, wait. Don't skip over this.
What?
So, how long were y'all in the same class before he asked for the number? Was the first day of class, had y'all built up
I think it was so long ago. I think it was the first day of class, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, snap.
I'm almost certain it was the first day of class. Yeah.
Oh, snap. So the first day of class, he was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So he asked for your number. You didn't ask for his number.
No.
Okay.
No. He'd asked for my number. Definitely asked for my number.
Okay.
And so he called me, I think, that night. And, we was talking on the phone just regularly, maybe 10 minutes into the conversation. This disrespectful man said,
listen to this, guys. The very first time she talked to him, what he said to her was so disrespectful, there would have been no coming back from that. Listen to what she said.
Yes. I don't know if I can say this on here, so I'll try to say it without saying it. He says, so do you give oral? But he actually said,
he asked her, do you suck D-I-C-K? That's what he said. She's just not saying it that way.
Actually said the words. So I'm like,
I'm starting to think Anton has an undiagnosed disability because I don't know if you guys are familiar with people that have autism. A lot of times they are, their feelings are not aligned. And a lot of times they don't understand emotions is what I should say. Their emotions are off. The fact that he asked for her phone number, the minute he got the opportunity to speak to her, the first thing he said, do you suck D-I-C-K? It seems weird. And also, she's going to go into when he said it, she hung up on him, but he called her back to say, I think your phone got disconnected, which was weird. No, I hung up on you.
Hey, boo.
hey, girl.
First of all, let's get into this hair.
Oh,
Honey, the hair is laid.
oh, I thank you.
The ancestors are wow.
Thank you. Well, when you asked me to come, I said, oh, this girl's gorgeous. I got to step my game up.
Okay, you should. You just came on. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing really good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So where are you at right now?
I am at home. I'm actually in Anton's studio where he records all of his videos and stuff at.
So where is that at?
So it's
Florida?
no, we're in Michigan right now.
In Michigan, okay.
Yeah.
So you're what, an hour behind me?
No, we're on the same time. It's 7 o'clock
okay.
here.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, first I want to say thank you for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. I have some people that feel like, I love talking about, relationships and just talking about us as women and, our stories and us, upgrading, doing better. I love to have those discussions. And so I realized that when it comes to talking about certain aspects of relationship and marriage, you need to have a woman that's actually married to come on and talk. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
So I appreciate you being willing to come on here and kick it with us.
Of course. Of course.
Y'all, if she's married, so can y'all please not be giving advances? I'm blocking. Okay, y'all doing too much. And I already don't say it what it is. Y'all don't have Anton coming over here going up on me. Oh no. Who said white boy sexy? We don't want no smoke. So how long have you been married?
So this coming Saturday, it will be 17 years of marriage.
17 years.
Yes, 17 years.
Wow. So how old were you when you got married?
I was 22 when I got married.
Now, just to, give you guys some context, this was about it could have been 5 years ago. So 17 years, 4 to 5 years ago.
Okay. So being married for 17 years, being married young.
Mm-hmm.
In 2021, as being where you are, what do you feel about marriage present day? As a whole, not necessarily even your marriage specifically, but knowing what you've known about it, knowing your experience. I know you've heard so many different opinions on the internet world about it, but how do you personally feel about marriage in 2021?
I feel as though people don't want to put in the work because marriage, it's fun, but I'm not gonna lie, it hasn't always been, the easiest aspect of my life. And I just feel like people don't want to put in the work. Like as soon as something happened, they're like, oh, I'm getting divorced. And it's like, where's the work? Like, are you going to try to work through it or are you just going to quit every time something happens?
So that, and it's interesting you said that. That's kind of why I titled this live the way I did. Because I think that women think when you get married, like you just float on a cloud the rest of your life and have your husband fanning you and once it's anything outside of that, they're like, no, you're worth, level up, you deserve better. And I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like that's how it's gonna really look.
Yeah, that's not realistic. That's not how it's gonna look at all. That's definitely not realistic.
Right. So, okay. In your opinion, what does working it out look like from a woman's point of view? Does it look like picking and choosing your battles? Does it look like proving your point? Does it look like reciprocating energy? Like when you say working things out, what does that look like in your feminine energy?
So I feel like in the beginning, when I was young and immature and not knowing what I know now, it was matching the energy. Like, oh, you said this, so I'm gonna say something back, But now that we're 17 years in, I would say it's about picking your battles. And then it's also about having the conversation. Matching energy, that's tired. Like that's old, that's played out, like that's immature. It's about picking your battles and having the conversation.
While I can agree with what she's saying, this is where we're going to do a little bit of gear switching because I totally understand what she's saying when she say pick your battles. But when your husband is out here making you look like a damn fool, I'm confused because in this video here, it appears that Anton's wife, which is the lady that you guys just saw, gives him permission to be with other women.
If Anton wanted to bust down a chick, his wife will let him. She's okay with it.
Okay, what's your name, love?
Is it Janelle?
Let me ask you a question. If you married to somebody and they can't tell you I can tell Rita anything.
I can tell Rita anything. Well, you want a spouse that can tell you anything, but what is the purpose of getting married if your spouse is telling you they want to sleep with somebody else? Yeah, that's a little bit weird, okay?
Anything. If I like another girl, if I'm going through something,
Look how she looking. If I like another girl. And look how she looking. She like, what? Look at this lady. She like, huh?
if I'm not feeling her at the time, if let's just say let's use a worst case scenario in your mind. Yo, you know what? I'm feeling like busting down another.
Look at his wife. Look at his wife next to him. They look like two fucking idiots. I want to bust down another girl. What type of weird ass, no Christian values, fake Christian values, fake everything? This is all a part of their grift. And shout out to No Captivity with Freezy. This is his video, but I thought this was a good opportunity for me to kind of react to his video because his wife is speaking on submission is what she's saying. And I'm not saying don't submit to your husband, but don't submit to foolishness. You don't need to be married if you feel that you need to tell your wife, I need to go smash down this chick.
Chick tomorrow.
Damn.
Would you be able to be wait, stop. Hold on, y'all. Let's talk about it. Do you think you should be able to do that within your marriage?
Talk about it, yeah.
You said no?
You said what? You said busting down another girl?
Yeah.
She said, did you say busting down another chick? The people like, what? Huh?
If that's the way I felt and I wanted to talk to her about it, do you think that makes sense?
No, it doesn't.
Why not?
How old is
Wait, y'all.
The wife says, why not? Why not? A wife advocating for her own husband to be licking on somebody else. This is the craziest, most mentalist shit I've ever heard in my life. Something ain't right with her either.
So when you say have the conversation, is there a finesse in having the conversation? Like, so, because most of us, we kind of mess up when it comes to having a conversation and we be having bad timing or don't work it right. Like,
Yes.
what, like, so you and your man disagreeing on something, like, what is the correct way to approach the conversations?
I feel like that you need to know who your person is. And again, it took me a minute to even realize who Anton was, because like I said in the beginning, it's like, well, let's have the conversation now because we are.
So she said, you need to know who your man is. So I guess knowing that he's disrespectful, knowing that he puts out this perception that he can have any woman that he wants, I guess is a part of knowing him based on her. As long as you know that he's a piece of shit, I guess that makes it better.
Arguing now. So let's talk about it now. But he's the kind of person where he needs a minute to like calm down, get it together, and then come back. So now, again, like I said, 17 years in, I know that now. So we can't have the conversation in that moment. We might have to wait an hour or two. We might even have to wait till the next day, depending on what it is. But you just have to know, who your spouse is, who your person is. You have to know how to deal with them and how to handle them. So
I'm sorry, I wouldn't want any type of relationship advice from a woman who does not demand respect. Now, a man that's out there cheating behind your back, that doesn't make it any better, but at least you don't know about it. This is crazy. I wouldn't want any advice from this lady.
I guess that would be like the
So does that
finesse.
make you feel oppressed?
No, because I mean, like, it's the same thing with me. Like, I might not always want to talk about it. So he might have to give me.
I feel like this woman has conditioned herself to accept whatever he comes to the table with for the sake of money. And I'm going to tell y'all, like I said in my last video, Women will put up with anything depending on how much you pay. The more you pay, the more they would accept. Okay. It takes a special kind of woman who has high self-esteem, who really just don't care about that. When I say care, I'm not going to say women don't care about the money, but sometimes the overall emotional abuse is more than she can take. So she probably be like, forget the money. But then some women, as long as you can buy them things, they'll deal with the abuse. And it seems like this is what she's conditioned herself to do. Hey, I can buy whatever I want. I can go wherever I want. If I'm gonna cry, I'd rather cry with a lot of money.
My day or my hour, like, I might not want to talk at the moment. So, I mean, it's the same thing. It's not just like he telling me and pointing at me like, wait till I'm ready to talk. No, it's like, no, okay, when you're ready to talk, then let's talk. But no, like, I don't feel oppressed at all.
So you feel like by giving him the courtesy and understanding, they tend to reciprocate that back.
Yes.
As opposed to knocking everything over and being like, no, we can do this now. Like, I never have imagined that would work out well.
Yeah, that's not the move. That's that's definitely not the move. Because I feel like that if you have the conversation in that moment when you're angry, you're just gonna get angrier. Like, you're not gonna solve anything. It's just gonna be just more anger and anger and anger and anger. Whereas if you wait the 10, 15 minutes, hour, next day, whatever, most of the time when you all come back and talk about it, it was a misunderstanding. You thought, or you assumed, or like, it's really nothing. And then you end up laughing about it. Like, I can't believe he was even mad about that.
Okay. So you feel like you have the conversation. So it's kind of a step process. So you have the conversation, of course, when both parties are ready. And then you have to kind of get over it after that, is what it sounds like. Like, so you're saying, like, once you talk about it and it's dead, you have to kind of like move forward.
Yeah, definitely. Like, once you have the conversation and y'all fix it, don't bring it back up, because you already fixed it. Like, what's the point in keep talking about it?
Right. So now, what would be, first of all, I'm going to ask you, like, what your advice would be to the girls today that want to be married, and what's the best way of knowing the right man to say yes to. But before that, can you just give us a story on how you met your husband and kind of the story behind how you decided you were going to say yes and kind of sign up for that wife life?
Ooh-wee, how much time we have? No, I'm joking. Okay, so me and Anton actually went to high school together. And 9th grade, we had a class together. I think I sat like behind him or something. And so he, asked me for my phone number. I gave it to him.
Wait a minute, wait. Don't skip over this.
What?
So, how long were y'all in the same class before he asked for the number? Was the first day of class, had y'all built up
I think it was so long ago. I think it was the first day of class, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, snap.
I'm almost certain it was the first day of class. Yeah.
Oh, snap. The first day of class, he was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So he asked for your number. You ain't asked for his number.
No.
Okay.
No, he asked for my number. Definitely asked for my number. Okay. And so he called me, I think, that night, and we was talking on the phone just regularly. Maybe 10 minutes into the conversation,
pay attention, y'all, because you're gonna ask yourself, girl, how did you even get this far with a man that tells you or asks you, do you suck DICK after being his first time speaking to you?
Disrespectful man. This I don't know if I can say this on here, so I'll try to like say it without saying it. He says, so do you give oral? But he actually said the word. So I'm like, wait, what did you say? I didn't.
The man asks her, does she suck DICK? This is the first time they are meeting, talking on the phone. How weird. I believe Anton definitely has some kind of disability, because if that is a question you wanted to ask, why would you make that the first thing you say? And then listen to what she said.
I don't think I heard you correctly. Can you repeat yourself? So he repeated him, girl, yes. So he repeated himself, and I said, okay. So I just hung up. So him being, girl, no. So him being the arrogant person that he is, he calls me back and says, I think your phone got disconnected. I said, no, I hung up on you on purpose. Right? He like, it's no way she hung up on me. I'm like, no, I actually hung up. I pushed the button and hung up.
Okay.
So I said, yeah, I hung up. I said, you are very rude and disrespectful. He was like, I'm just wondering. So again, I hung up. So that was 9th grade. I didn't talk to him anymore until 11th grade. We had that whole class together. Never talked.
Was that awkward?
No, I ain't care nothing about him. I wasn't thinking about him because you was disrespectful.
Right.
So
and for him to say that means it worked on some chicks.
Exactly. He was used to like hood rats and you know, just all kind of girls.
Probably in
He was used to hood rats. Okay. Now it's starting to make sense. If you are used to hood rat women or girls, and these are the type of, you know, females that you attracted, I can understand his level of, you know, now I got a few dollars. No, none of these girls would have looked at me, even if they were my age and we were all going to the same school. None of these girls would have looked at me back then, but now what I can do is pay them.
Reach him like, oh.
That's what he says now that, you know, we've had the conversation. He like, I knew you was different because you ain't far from my, you know, normal foolishness like the rest of the girls. So I think at the end of 11th grade, I don't know how so my best friend was dating his best friend. And so she said, hey, now I didn't know, like I said, I hadn't talked to him in 2 years. So I didn't like know who his friends or whatever was. So she said, hey, I'm going over, you know, my boyfriend's house today. You want to come with? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. So when she called her boyfriend, he said, I'm not at home. I'm over my boy's house. So she like, okay, give me the address. I'll be over there.
And then
his boy was Anton. So he was at Anton's house. I was like, oh no. Right. So we pull up to the house again. I had never been to his house, didn't know where he lived. So I'm like, okay, you know. So we get out, we go to the door. He came to the door. I said, it's no freaking way this is your house. No way. No way possible this is your house. So, of course.
In Detroit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that was in Detroit.
Okay.
So, of course, it was awkward because I'm still mad. Like, why am I here? Like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So, of course, after a while, we ended up just like, you know, laughing and talking and stuff. But it was still never like, we didn't date in high school. So that was that. So then we both graduated, went away to college. And I was in my 2nd year, I think, of college. And I was just like, randomly just thought about him one day. Like, I wonder how's Anton doing? And he had the easiest phone number ever. He don't have it no more, so I can say it. It was 3456758. Like the easiest number ever. Just write in numerical order.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna call him, you know, see how he doing. So I called him, and his mother answered the phone and was like, you know, he's not here, but can I take your number, you know, to have him call you back? So I'm like, okay, sure. So he called me back like that night or whatever. And of course, he tried to act like he wasn't, but he was. He was. So we just became like best friends instantly. Like he was talking to somebody else, I was talking to somebody.
Isn't that kind of odd though that she kept his number? Because I have so many numbers in my phone and I wouldn't think of calling somebody, especially someone that was disrespectful initially. And we happened to stumble upon each other. But then I'm just going to say, what are they doing? Because I wouldn't even think about calling someone like, you know, how she said Anton, you know, what he had initially said to her.
So it was just like, you know, we was just like friends. And he would tell me, you know, about all of these dumb girls that he was dealing with and all of the stuff that he was putting them through. I'm like, that's just too much. I can't be bothered with you. And I don't know, just we never even like officially said, you know, we together. It just like kind of just meshed together and it just kind of happened. And then next thing you know, we was getting married.
Okay, so there was never a time that he was like, you're my girl starting.
Now listen to this part. She goes into saying that they, you know, what she remember is that they got married. Now, the weird part about this is they never went from boyfriend to girlfriend, because she says that there was never a period where he actually asked her to be his girlfriend. I thought that was kind of weird considering, you know, somebody that's asking you, do you suck DICK? And then somehow y'all became friends. It would be interesting to know how she got over that part, because if somebody said that to me, first of all, there's no going back. I don't even know how you would explain yourself. But then you went from that to becoming good friends with them to trusting him is where it seemed a little bit weird to me.
Now.
Nope. Never, ever. Nope, never, ever. Girls that he was dealing with and all of the stuff that he was putting them through. I'm like, that's just too much. I can't be bothered with you. And I don't know, just we never even like officially said, you know, we together. It just like kind of just meshed together and it just kind of happened. And then next thing you know, we was getting married.
Okay, so there was never a time that he was like, you're my girl starting now.
Nope, never, ever. That never happened. Like when we started back talking, like I said, he was talking to somebody and I was talking to somebody, but mine wasn't like serious because like I was still a virgin. So nobody was really checking for me like that. Like nobody really wanted to do had nothing to do with it because I wasn't giving it up. So they was like, oh yeah, that's nice. That's my girl. But yeah, it was just like, it was never a thing where we said that. We just started hanging out every day, been on the phone every day, seeing each other every day. And it was just like, okay, this is it. Like, this is our thing.
So how did he ask you to marry him?
He actually asked me to marry him with a diamond tennis bracelet first. And I was like,
I thought that was weird. How does somebody ask you to marry them with a tennis bracelet? Wouldn't it be a ring? So it seems like Anton is a little bit, he got some loose screws up there.
Bracelet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was like,
So how old were y'all at this point?
We were 21 at that point.
Okay.
Actually, it was my, because when I caught him when I was, I think like 20. Yeah. And so it had been like, I would say like a year.
So
yeah, something like that.
I should marry him with the bracelet.
Yes. And so I'm like, boy, you ain't for real. Like,
right.
I take the bracelet though, but we too young. I take the bracelet, but we too young to be getting married. Like, I don't know. Like, I just wasn't in that space, or at least I thought I wasn't in that space because I don't know. I just never thought about getting married. That just wasn't like a thing of mine. And then I would say was it a year? About a year, maybe a year, he asked me with the ring. I was like, oh, he's serious. So I said yes. And here we are 17 years later.
Wow. So as a woman, what is the deciding factor when you're going to say yes to be this man's wife? Like, what made you be like, all right, like, I'm going to, like, this is the man I need to marry?
Because
what do we need to be looking for that we're supposed to feel, think about? Like,
you know what? Honestly, I don't know. Like, I think that you'll just know. I think the fact that we
always say that, but is that really how it goes?
That's really how it goes, because I mean, it was nothing like specific. It was just, I mean, like I said, we were best friends, like literally best friends. He started out.
I think that's really odd that you don't know when you decided that you wanted to move forward with marriage. It leads me to believe that, you know, maybe you just don't know, because when you do videos like this.
Oh, wow. Times it can be hard and sad and difficult because Anton has a lot of different personalities, and so you have to be a certain type of woman to deal with. Anton is very emotional. He doesn't communicate effectively. I don't think that he has killed anybody before. I think he's capable. I've seen him angry before. He's just like a totally different person when he's angry. He blacks out. This is like being married.
Totally different perspective. Okay, because you don't know why you wanted to marry this man. It leads me to believe maybe there was no reason, you know. As we, you know, as I got into that interview, it seemed like, hey, Rita was pretty much up for whatever. She stated that Anton was a hard worker, and this was prior to YouTube. She said he had multiple jobs. So maybe, you know, by her knowing that Anton was for sure a provider, maybe that was the deciding decision. But what we do know, though, is Rita is acceptable. She accepts Anton's behavior. What married man can go to his wife and say, yeah, I want to sleep with Mika?
So Anton's wife was even screaming, why? Why can't he bust down another chick, right? Anton said they're definitely not in an open marriage, but she will let him bust down another chick. Hey, to each his own. So much for being Christian conservative, but that's not what we're here for. It's one thing for Anton's wife to be okay with him busting down another chick, but it's another thing for a wife to be okay with her husband taking money outside of the household to spend on another chick. That's like a violation, especially to black women.
Let's finish our, you know, hope y'all got y'all, you know, y'all a snack.
Telling me about all of the girls he was with and everything. Like, I was just like, you know, his best friend. And, you know, we was together every day. We talked every day. And I'm like, why not get married? Like, we already doing everything. I mean, you know what I'm saying? At that point, we was already doing everything that married people did. So why not?
Why not get married? We was already screwing. We was already doing all of that. See, that has never been my experience, because I have told a couple of people, hell to the no. Not saying that every situation is going to be perfect, because there are no perfect situations, but I do believe the person you marry is the person you marry. I think some people feel like, you know, if I get married, he gonna change. No, who you marry is who you get. So it feels weird that she cannot give us any other. She doesn't say anything about Anton except that he was a hard worker, and you guys are going to hear her say that.
Like, you know, and I mean, for me also, he always have been like the working type. Like, ever since I got back in contact with him, he had 2 jobs at the age of what, like I said, maybe 19, 20 when I got back in touch with him.
One thing she knew is that he was a hard worker. This is the only good characteristic that she said. he was a hard worker. I mean, is it that hard to find a man that wants to work? Because she can't think of one other thing outside of monetary benefit.
He had 2 jobs. So, you know, maybe that helped because I knew he was a hard worker. But honestly, I just feel like I think you'll just know when it's
And that's
the
so
one.
funny to say that because I hear that so commonly.
Yeah.
And then it starts to become a cliche, and then you're like, oh, please, that's not. But I hear married people like that's the common that you just know.
Yeah.
That, yeah, there isn't necessarily, you know, a certain ping that goes out. It's just a certain feeling.
Yeah.
So you were a virgin when you got married? Or you gonna get a little sample? So you was like, hold on.
Now, although that wasn't important, I mean, people that's not virgins do get married. But do you guys see how she stopped there? Anton has told his whole follower base that when he married his wife, she was a virgin. Now, I don't know why that even matters, and I don't even know who gives a care about that. When you get to a certain age, you know, a person being a virgin is honestly, you know, a turnoff in some, you know, we're not like we're 18, 19 years old, but you see how she pauses there?
Sample right quick. So, okay, so your husband is the only man you've ever been with?
Yes.
Wow. That's why I said, y'all, I said, us harlots and Jezebels.
Not the harlots, no.
I said, well, that's what I meant, because I had heard that he had mentioned that in another video, and I was like, damn. And that's why I told y'all ladies, I said, we're gonna listen to the story. Now, us harlots probably cannot relate to a lot of it, but we gonna still listen.
You are crazy.
For a lot of, you know, us harlots and Jezebels out here, but
stop saying that. Stop saying that.
So, okay, so what is your family background? So were your parents together, married? Like how did you kind of...
Now, this is very important, guys, because what she's going to go into is saying that her father was not in her life, but that she met him at the age of 12, which makes a lot of sense because you telling a girl or asking a girl, a female, does she know how to suck D? The first thing came to my mind is where her daddy at? Because that's just not something that you would ordinarily say. I was a little bit taken back when I heard that Anton had asked her, did she suck D? So we learned that her father was not in her life.
Make that decision to kind of move that way.
So no, my mother and my father were not married. My mother was she was a single mom. I didn't meet my dad until I was 12, I think. Like
wow.
12, yeah. And even
no man at home at all.
I mean, my uncle, but it wasn't like no father. My father wasn't there.
Okay.
Nope.
So how did you overcome that? Like, where did you get this strong mindset from where you wasn't falling for the okie doke, you wasn't out here thotting and bopping, like, because clearly it's an intentional thing. You know what I mean? If a woman wants to do that, she has plenty of opportunity to do that. Like, clearly you intentionally chose not to do that. Like, how can girls overcome, even if they don't have a father figure, or even if they don't come from a completed home? Like, what mindset, like what do she need to think about to not fall into that trap and kind of stay strong in the way that you did?
I mean, like you said, you have to be intentional. It has to be, you know, what you want to do.
And honestly, I really don't feel like Rita is the one to give any type of schooling on this, because based on what we have saw online as it relates to her husband, we don't want it. So What she's going through and what she's enduring is something that nobody else wants to endure, even if it's for play or for real. It looks like it's for real because if this is for content, then why would you be doing what? Deleting the content.
Have to put your mind to it. And I feel like in my situation, Mom, if you're watching, don't kill me. No slight to you. I love you, love you, love you. But like my mom, when she met my dad, she was a virgin and like he was her first. And she got pregnant the first time at the age of 20. Oh, wow. And so just hearing that story, I just equated sex to kids. And so I'm like, well, I'm not having sex because I'm not trying to have no kids. So I was like, I'm gonna just sit this one out. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, it's just like you said about being.
Now I gotta give her some props here. I like that part because I was also the same way growing up. I saw a lot of people having kids and I always, equated sex to kids. So I was like, oh no. So I understand what, I like how she put that. I feel like if a lot of people equated sex to having kids, then they probably wouldn't have so many different kids by different people. Not saying that that does not happen because people do get in relationships in which they need to leave and you got to do what's, going to be better for you. And sometimes it does happen multiple times, but I love how she said that I equated sex with kids. And that's how I teach my grown adult kids. Sex equal kids. So understand when you make that decision, what can happen. So just know when you do that, understand what can come with it.
Intentional and really just, putting your mind to it and not, wanting to, if you don't want to do something, then you don't have to do it. You can easily just put your mind to it and say, hey, I'm not doing this. I'm not going down this path. I'm not going this way. And don't do it. And that was just my thing. Like, I'm like, okay, so when you have sex, you get pregnant. That's not what I'm trying to do. So, no.
Right. So, now that it's all said and done, now that you've seen the way you move, I'm sure you have other examples of women in your life and seeing different decisions women made. Mm-hmm. What would you tell your daughter? What would you tell other girls her age? What advice would you give them? Would you give them the advice to do it the way you did it? Would you give them the advice to do it another way? Like, now that you've seen how it all panned out, what would you tell the girls?
I would definitely say do it the way that I did it, because I feel like when you get married young, you're still getting to know the person that you married, and y'all can also grow together. It's not just about, when he come, he are, you, and not saying that you can't get married older, because I mean, people do and be successful all the time. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. Y'all grow together. And so it's like, you don't have to worry about when he come to you, he already, set in his ways and he already, feel like this or that. It's like y'all get to grow together and y'all kind of mesh and you kind of.
And I kind of disagree with this because I feel like Rita made up in her mind a long time ago that she was going to stay with her husband regardless. And I get that, but I wouldn't be able to stay with somebody that's playing with me online. Like, I don't give a crap if this is your job or whatever. I wouldn't deal with that. But what she's saying is she feels like it's better to get married young. I feel like, it depends on the person, because what tends to happen is when you get married young, you at some point grow into the person that you're going to become. Sometimes that may move you away from your partner. So I believe it's kind of like each to its own. You getting married younger is not going to be the fix to somebody else and tell them, hey, you should get married younger. I don't believe that's going to work for everybody.
Like, I don't want to say train or mold, but it's like y'all kind of mold each other into the person that you want them to be, into, what you need them to be for you.
Okay. So you don't feel like you missed something or missed out? Because that's what I hear women say. They say, oh, you want to do it because you don't want to get older, but you missed out. You don't feel like you missed anything.
I don't feel like I missed anything because, like I mean, we've done everything together. Anything that I've wanted to do, I've done it, I did it with him. I travel, I, do everything. Like, it's no shortage on what I can do. Like, yeah, I don't feel like I missed anything. Missed probably some headache and heartache. Probably that's about it.
It ain't. These streets are treacherous.
So
it's funny that she said she missed headache and heartache, but from what we're seeing right now, to me would be the most traumatizing to be with a man that is, it seemed like he's having a separate relationship, but I guess it wouldn't mean anything if you down with it, right?
What y'all about to see not only proves to me that Anton and Mika was participating in sexual adult activities, but his wife was down with everything. And I do mean everything. Remember a few days ago when your girl Mika was on Talk Perspective and the host Orlando asked her if her and Anton Daniels were still friends? And she made it a point to set the record straight that her and Anton was absolutely not friends.
How long have you and Anton been business partners or friends?
We're business partners. And
so you're not a friend, because I don't want to provide language that's inaccurate.
That's why I changed it.
Yeah.
We're business partners, absolutely.
You're not friends?
No.
Okay.
Friends would imply that we hang outside of business. Friends would imply that we hang outside of business.
Friends would imply that we hang outside of business. Friends would imply that we hang outside of business.
Not necessarily. Well, yes, correct.
Yeah, like
outside of business. Yeah, correct.
Like, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? So she said that friends would imply that they hang outside of business. Okay.
Molly is my new personal project.
What's going on?
I don't know. I keep hearing, okay.
They sick of me.
I'm trying to understand what the problem is.
Me too.
Mika about to show up at your doorstep. She's like, "What the fuck you talking about?"
There's no problems whatsoever. Everything.
No, but that's what it sounded like. It sounded like somebody's trying to say something without saying something, and I'm sitting here like, what the hell are y'all saying? Because
don't say y'all.
Amiga, I'll fix it for you, baby. I got your flight scheduled for next week. Don't worry, I'll make it up to you, Amiga. Where you want to go? You want to go shopping?
Yeah, and my hair needs shampooing and conditioning.
Do you want to go shopping? Yeah, and my hair needs shampooing and conditioning. Girl, do you have any money? I always play the, game like this. I don't ask people for anything that I can take care of myself. I would never ask a man to get my hair done. This is given what Anton's wife said, that he had the ratchet type chicks, because you need your hair shampooed. You can't pay for that.
All right, I got it, baby.
Yes, I'm Voltron.
Wouldn't that be considered outside of business if she agreed for Anton to take her shopping? Or maybe they was just joking around,
doing it
for content.
I'm gonna tiptoe around Mika tonight.
Woo! Doing it for content. It's the content, right? It is the content. This is weird.
I've heard.
They treacherous AF. So do you feel like Anton's family was involved in helping you guys kind of have standards and guide through, since your family wasn't necessarily on the same dynamics?
Mm-hmm. Yep, because Anton's parents were married. His father, unfortunately, passed away a few years ago, but they were married for almost 40 years.
Mm.
And then like all of his aunts and uncles, they've been married for, 20, 30 years. So, he's always had that, as an example. Now, even though my mom wasn't married, like my aunts and uncles, were married, and they've been married for long periods of time too. So I have seen that. So I feel like both of our family structures kind of helped shape us into, who we are.
So do you feel like without those people in the family structure that you would have been able to have a marriage long lasting and successful?
I think so, because I feel like that once you get married, you know, you have those people as examples, but once you're married, it's just y'all two. Like, it's just you and him. So whatever y'all decide, that's what's gonna, you know what I'm saying, mold and make it out to be what it is. Not, you know, what his parents is doing or what his aunts or my mom is doing. It's about what we decide and what we feel, you know, decide to do in this thing.
So what do you think is the balance between, because sometimes people say, you know, you're marrying that person, you're not marrying their family. What do you feel is the balance in between how much the family is involved and how much it comes down to just being you and him? Like, where does the line get crossed in between doing what's best to try to please the family or accommodate or invite their opinion, and when is it, okay, no, this is just, get what they say, this is just you and I? Like, how important do you think the family being on the same page is when you're marrying somebody?
Honestly, I don't think that it matters.
Really?
Because again, it's you and him. Like, whatever happens is between you and him. And that's where I feel like a lot of people go wrong, is that they involve their family and then it becomes a family marriage. And that's not it. That's not what the Bible said. It's between you and him. So it's not like, you know, his mama and your mama, and no, it's.
Did she say that's not what the Bible says? Isn't it interesting how people implement the Bible when it is most convenient for them? Because given what we have saw with Anton, and now, you know, what we see with Rita as his wife, how convenient is it to enter the, you know, to bring up the Bible?
I'm gonna tiptoe around Mika tonight.
Rita,
you can't give her no compliments.
Mika and I have this symbiotic relationship, this thing that we can communicate with each other without words. We got this thing. She don't know that I know what be in her mind sometimes, but I know. I like that bracelet you got on now.
That's the second time he mentioned the bracelet.
You know? Put on screen.
Now let's get into the bracelet, because I know you guys are wondering what's going on. Now, I have received quite a few messages with regards to this bracelet. What people are saying is that the bracelet that Anton is referring to is in fact a bracelet that he has bought her. Now, pay attention to this video. This is coming from No Captivity with 𝐟𝐸𝐵. He's going to point out this particular bracelet in several other videos, because what they're assuming is that this was a bracelet that Anton bought, because he's saying, oh, what a nice bracelet you have.
Bring it a little closer so we can get a
That's right.
Shout out to Mika.
So obviously Anton took her shopping, and obviously they did things outside of business. But I just want to know one thing. Did you see what I saw? Did you see the bracelet that was on her wrist? Oh, you didn't catch it, huh?
I like that bracelet you got on now. I like that bracelet you got on now.
I like that bracelet you got on now.
I like that bracelet you got on now.
Shout out to one of the No Cap crew, Brian, who actually sent me the video through email. And he pointed out something that none of us caught. And I do mean none of us.
Everything is contractual, right?
Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? And not only did she wear that Talk Perspectives interview with her, she wore that Tasha K's interview too.
Did you go to Detroit to see him for business?
I went to Detroit.
And his wife didn't mind you going along to the game?
No.
But she wasn't with you that day at the game.
No, she was not.
Your husband could take another woman to a basketball game?
Tasha, we're not here to talk about my husband. We're here to talk about me.
I'm here to talk about your character.
How in the hell we missed all of that?
So while we're talking about the Bible, if we're going to talk about the Bible, we got to talk about the entire Bible, not just the portion that applies to what you want to apply it to. Because what it looks like is your husband is having an extramarital affair.
It's you and him. So whatever decisions y'all gonna make is you and him. Whatever arguments y'all have and when y'all make up is you and him. People go wrong when they include a family because, you know, then people try to act like, you know, oh, I'm not gonna treat him no different, girl. Tell me what happened. And then you tell them, and then you and him make up tomorrow because it wasn't nothing anyway. But then your sister still giving him the side eye every time she see him because he said this to you. And it's like, that ain't none of their business. Like, nobody should know what's going on in your marriage. Now, if you decide to seek some counseling or something from your pastor or therapist or something, that's different. But as far as family goes, keep them out your business because everybody got something to say. While they laying at home next to their husband who just slapped them, they telling you to leave yours. So everybody mind their business. You know I'm telling the truth.
Not next to the husband that just slapped them. Who? What?
Right. Got advice for everybody else.
No, don't lose me, boo.
That's kind of concerning, Rita.
Oh, wow. Times it can be hard and sad and difficult because Anton has a lot of different personalities, and so you have to be a certain type of woman to deal with. Anton is very...
I'm just wondering, do Anton be slapping the hell out of her? Because I don't know where that came from. Because I don't know nobody like that who getting slapped upside their head. I don't know them folks.
Okay, so you saying it's you two and the family need to listen. They need to respect. So it's up to it sounds like what you're saying is it's up to the two of you to demand that level of respect from the family. So
exactly.
With y'all families, do y'all kind of have it set up where they already know, like that's them?
So honestly, like my mother, she's not that kind of person, and neither is his mother. So we've never even, you know, had those type of problems. Like neither of our families is like that. You know, like, so that's never even really been an issue. Now, I mean, you know, like I might be on the phone with my mom and I might say, girl, Anton left his socks on the floor. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. But yeah, like little funny stuff, but nothing like, I mean, you know, because nobody needs to know what y'all got going on but you and him. Because
recommend like professional, like marriage.
Now, I don't know if you guys saw the video that Anton did, and he said that he takes care of her mother. Y'all know when money is involved, people tend to be quiet because they don't want to mess that little checkup that they got coming. So I feel like if her mom did have something bad to say about Anton, she probably would keep it to herself, because what Anton did say is no women in his life work, including her mother.
Counselors when you have issues, not family.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you feel like that has been a key factor in keeping your marriage going for so long?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay.
Because
so on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is that? 10 being the most important. 10 being very important. 10.
12. 12. 12. Because you know what? Because I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen, and I've seen it ruin marriages. Yeah, that's a 12.
Writing this stuff down, or just me?
That's definitely a 12. I mean, but that goes for not just family. It goes for your friends too. Like your best friend. It goes for all of them. Like nobody needs to be in your bedroom but you and your man or your husband.
Okay.
And apparently, anybody that your husband chooses to be in your bedroom, because judging from what we have found all over the internet, it seems like you're not the only one in your bedroom, ma'am. It appears that, maybe Mika, amongst others, was in your bedroom.
I'm talking about right underneath our eyes. If it was a snake, it would have bit us. Obviously, that bracelet has some type of sentimental value, being that she's still wearing it. Even though she said she doesn't have any more dealings with Anton, especially because she said he didn't advocate for her while being under his covering.
Everything has a season.
Yep.
And I think just ours have come to an end because at this juncture, I can't trust that you'll advocate for me being I was under your covering at the time.
And he's never met your husband.
And on top of that, she talks as if she respects her husband and tell him everything. Well, if she respects her husband, she damn sure wouldn't wear a bracelet that Anton bought her while being on an interview with a guy who's apparently real good friends with her husband. So what does this prove? It definitely proves that Mika and Anton had more than a friendship, and that it's even a stronger possibility that they was getting it in, doing the freak nasty. But most of all, it proves that she don't give a damn about her husband, or she could possibly be going through a divorce as we speak, which explains why Anton said this.
So let me ask you something. So now your wife is a casualty of war.
Yeah.
Now we got Mika being as a casualty of war. And I asked her, I said, Mika, are you married? Is she married?
I can't speak to her situation.
She said, but you knew and you wouldn't mind speaking to it.
Well, I don't know that because I'm taking your word for it.
This interview hasn't aired yet.
But I'm still taking
Hers is going to go out first.
I'm taking your word
Hers
that
is
she
gonna-
said what she said. I can't speak to her situation.
The thing is, like, I found it very interesting that this husband.
Should they be a casualty of whatever it is?
I get it. And she don't want her husband to be a part of what they got going on.
I didn't say she had a husband. You said
Well,
that.
she said she had a husband.
Okay.
She did say that. And I said, well, where is this husband? I don't see him nowhere on this Instagram.
I think it's a lot
They're
more.
moving on.
It's a lot more complicated than that. And I can't speak to nobody else's situation, but I think it's a lot more complicated than that.
It seems like all of this is more complicated than we thought. At this point, Mika, you just need to take a long break from the internet and try to save your marriage, if it's even possible. If it was me, though, you would have already been served them papers. Make sure y'all share the video.
Woo, 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 woo. Well, based on Rita, as long as you keep the people out of your bedroom.
So let me ask you this. What is Anton don't mind letting people know, like, y'all run my household. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No.
No problem letting people know. Yeah, in my household, a dictatorship. So what do you feel as the wife's role when you have a husband who tends to be more of the take charge type of guy like that?
Yeah.
How do you move as a woman where I understand you told us like we need to pick and choose our battles, but when it does come to time where you want to seriously veto something, where something is happening that you really feel strongly about,
Yeah.
how do you maneuver that where it is a time where you're like, okay, normally I wouldn't care, but okay, in this instance, like I'm not having it. Like, how do you move that way when you have a man who is more so in charge?
Again, it just comes down to having the conversation. And a lot of I won't say most times, a lot of times it's just having a conversation. And then he'll be like, yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, let's move that way. Or because we're so in sync and on one accord that most times we be thinking the same thing anyway. But there has been times where it's like, no, we're going to do it this way. And you just have to be adamant about it. You just have to, stand for it and actually just let him know, like, hey, this is what's happening. Like, this is what's going down.
Okay. So do you feel like the way, because see, sometimes people tend to paint men like that as these monsters. It's like what I say goes, and they like.
No, that's not.
So you're saying that's not
how he is.
how it really, because a lot of women say that. They say men that, you know, do their thing and get married and are successful, they say that they're going to be abusive and they're not going to listen to anything you say. And
what?
no. Like, the whole point of this show is to really talk about how it really looks like. That is what they tell us. They tell us they're going to do whatever they want, not going to care.
That's not how it is. Anton is not abusive at all. He doesn't just say, this is how it's going to be and you shut up. No, that's not how.
That's really interesting that she said Anton is not abusive, because this right here is very much given abusive.
Being married to Anton Daniels. Oh, wow. Times it can be hard and sad and difficult because Anton has a lot of different personalities, and so you have to be a certain type of woman to deal with. Anton is very emotional. He doesn't communicate effectively. I don't think that he has killed anybody before. I think he's capable. I've seen him angry before. He's just like a totally different person. When he's angry, he blacks out. This is like being married.
Saying a person blacks out, they have multiple different personalities, and you believe that they have not unalived anybody, but you believe that they're capable, and then you say he's not abusive? Girl, what?
How it is. I mean, I trust him enough to make the right decisions, but at the same time, if it's something, you know, like, of course, certain things is just like, okay, whatever, you know, it's not that deep. But like you said, there are times where there are things and I'm like, okay, no, let's talk about it. Let's talk through it. He say, you know, why he think we should do it his way. I say, well, I think we should do it my way. And we come to an agreement on, you know, how it's going to be. Like, it's not just him saying, this is it and you shut up. No, it's not like that. It's not like that at all.
That's what they tell us. They like, he gonna do whatever he want to do. He's not gonna care. And I've always felt like that was kind of extreme. I'm like, I don't think that guys are doing that like that in real life.
No, not in real life.
But what you're saying is at the same time, and just reading your energy, I'm pretty sure that you're not going to him like, oh hell no, this is what we gonna do.
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
I can kind of see in just your energy that it's probably just coming to him with respect, and you're saying that they normally will return the respect.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. I like this.
I mean, but that came, of course, that came with a little time though.
Now that's very interesting that she said this, because this was 4 years ago. And it is very much giving that this lady is acceptable to what he's doing. That, you know, because I mean, it's all over the internet, right? So we just saw a video where she's like, why come your husband can't be with another woman?
Oh, I wasn't always like this. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. So at what point did you have an epiphany in your marriage where you were like, all right, I'm tripping. Let me move a little bit different. Did you have or did you see that methods you were using were not working? Like what happened where you said, you know what? All right, I need to, you know, do some self-reflecting and move a little different than how I'm doing.
I just saw that what I was doing wasn't working. Like all of the yelling and the snatching dreams and all of this. Nobody wants to hear that. I don't even want to hear it. So I know he don't. Like, I don't want to see nobody talking to me like that, because it's going to make me very angry. So I feel like, okay, if I don't want nobody talking to me like that, then why would I speak to anybody else like that? I mean, it's just, you know, it's just the same thing. And so that wasn't working. So I'm like, okay, let's try a different approach. Let's, you know, give him his time to have a second, calm down, breathe through. Give me a second to calm down, breathe through it. Because then once you calm down and you actually are thinking clearly, 9 times out of 10, whatever y'all was arguing about, it's not even that big of a deal. And you like, oh, my bad. If I had said it differently, then, you know, maybe you wouldn't have got so, you know, angry. Or, I mean, you know, it's just all in, to me, you can say anything. It's all in how you say it.
Okay. So do you feel like you went through a transition where you were operating more?
Now, to me, y'all, what I'm getting from this interview is she feels like a way to maintain control is to allow him to do whatever it is that he wants to do. As you guys listen to the interview, she, you know, acknowledges that there were times where things were crazy, chaotic, yelling, maybe throwing. She made a small allusion to physical violence. I don't know if y'all caught up on that, but what she said is she realized that it wasn't going to work. So I feel like at some point she felt like the way to, you know, to keep this man and the, you know, the money that comes along with it was pretty much let him do whatever she wants. Somebody sent me a message and I felt like it was someone attached to her that said, listen, she has a soft life. She gets to do all of these things. And like I said in, you know, earlier in the video, some women are okay with it as long as the man has a lot of money.
Or in your masculine energy with him, and then you kind of had an epiphany and began to kind of move deeper in your feminine energy? Or do you feel like you were pretty steady in your feminine energy the whole time?
I think in the beginning it was more like masculine energy, and I had to, like, you know, shift into that feminine energy because I mean, I didn't know any better. Like I said, I got married when I was 22 years old. Like,
right.
We was, you know, learning together. I didn't know anything about, you know, being submissive or, you know, talking a certain way. Like, that's just how I was used to talking, because that's how I talk to my friends, and that's how, you know, I talk to everybody. So it was like, oh, this is how I'm gonna talk to him too. Then it's like, okay, he ain't trying to hear that.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like moving more into your feminine energy led to things being more at peace and at ease in your marriage?
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
Because, you know, I always have felt like that is a humongous component in it. When you're talking about marriage for the long run, you have to be able to meet each other with that yin and that yang.
Yeah.
And so then the women try to say, oh, well, that's not going to guarantee anything. And I'm like, well, not being in your feminine energy is going to guarantee something. And that is arguing, head-butting, issues,
Yep.
stress. So, okay, if you're in your feminine energy, will it guarantee things be perfect and butterflies? No. But not being in it does give you a 100% guarantee. At least if you fall into your feminine energy, you are at least aligning yourself and giving the situation what it needs to protect.
So basically what she's saying is just what I just explained. The wife has found a way that works for her in dealing with her narcissist husband. Let him do whatever it is he's going to do. Be accepting of it, because he gonna do the shit anyways. And again, he come with a lot of money. She get to get the things that she want when, you know, life was harder before.
Potentially get the outcome you want. But if you're just constantly moving in your masculine energy, that's when you're getting something guaranteed, which is to hit a wall with your man, especially if you're for his masculine energy, because you meet him with that masculine energy too. He's looking at you like, I can do this all day. You gonna get tired before me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And a lot of times too, we can be right, but if you got the wrong tone and you saying it wrong and you coming at them wrong, then none of that even matters.
Mm-hmm. So I see that you're very, very slim and trim. So have you always been slim? Are you just like naturally slim, or do you have to like work at keeping?
So yeah, I have always been slim, but I do work at it too, though. You know, I don't eat beef and pork. I gave that up some many moons ago. You know, I monitor what I eat. I go to the gym. I don't drink, you know, a lot of juice and pop, mainly just water. Yeah, just.
So how important do you think it is for you to stay in shape as a married woman? Because I've always felt like it's kind of messed up to, like, when he marries you, like, you're slim and in shape, looking good, and then when he lock in with you,
I feel like this interview, given, you know, what we know about Anton, is kind of inappropriate, because while I agree, you know, keeping yourself up is part of a relationship, but when you got a person that looks like Anton, who is not attractive, but he's doing all of these things. Does any of this apply to him?
Right.
I'm saying, got him. And then you just start looking, however, like, I see you always keep your hair done, you stay in shape. Like, is that intentional? Like, how important do you feel like that is as being a wife?
I think that's very important. So just me as a person, like even before I got married, my hair and my nails have always been like my signature thing. So that's just like a given. Like that has to be done. Right. But I also agree with you and what you said that, you know, you have to keep up, you know, what he married. Like, you know, you can't just give up just because like, oh, I got him now. Because if he do that, you're not going to be happy about it. So then you shouldn't do it either. And I think that just looking good, to me, it just makes you feel good. Like your overall just attitude and everything just be good when you look good. So, I mean, I think that you should do it for yourself, but for him also.
So do you feel oppressed when you look good for your husband?
No, I don't. I feel lovely when I look good for my husband, because then he tells me how good I look and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, you know, just like that's not oppressed. No.
Did you die?
You said, did I die?
I see you're still alive.
Right.
After doing all of this. So, and I know the answer to the question. I'm just asking you to be facetious because these are the things the women say to me, like, oh, I gotta look good. I gotta be worried about if my husband think I look good. He should think I look good no matter what. And I'm like, what's wrong with saying, yeah, I want to look good. I want my husband to compliment me.
Right.
So women will get so triggered by that. So that's the only reason why I'm being funny. Asking, like, do you feel oppressed? Did you die? Because the way
not at all.
talk is as though it's like if they say, I want to look good for my man, they're going to just pass out and just fall on the ground. I personally think it's adorable how he fawns over you. I saw the video y'all did a few days ago. He was like, you dressed in real promiscuous way. Don't be mad, let's just look good. Because it's not able to come down over here from my heart off. So what do you think is, because I've gotten checked like this before to the point where sometimes I got to do a whole, let me see what you finna wear. So what is the borderline between us wearing what we want to wear and if your man, like Anton was, by the way, before y'all to go there, he was joking.
He was joking. Yes, he was joking.
Wait to be like, oh my God.
Right. He was joking.
He was joking because it was just her legs was sexy for that. So, but before y'all run with that, he was kidding. But on a serious note, what do you think is okay in between your man saying, all right, now that is a little like, what's the balance between how far is too far? And do you think it's appropriate where if your man does say, hey, this makes me a little uncomfortable that you change? Because I saw a video recently that went viral and it was talking about that. And it was like, oh, if your man tell you to change, he insecure and you're a clown and you're a pick-me if you do it. But what do you feel like, what do you feel is a good kind of balance in there on how that would go?
I'm gonna go from my personal, from just my relationship. I feel like if he says something, you know, he don't want me to wear it, then I'm not gonna wear it. Like, what's the big deal? I mean, you know, like I trust him enough to, you know, just roll with what he say. Like, and the fact that he's also a man, and so he knows how other men think. So it could be, you know, to me, like, oh, you know, just my legs are showing or, you know, anything. But because he's a man, he know how another man might look at me or might take that. And, you know, it's just like, okay, it's not that deep. Like, I have so many clothes. I can surely go find something else that's just as cute.
Right.
And that, you know, keeps us in a good place in our relationship. Like, it's not worth, you know, having no argument about some clothes.
So again, it looks like you didn't die.
Huh?
So again, it looks like you didn't die.
Exactly. I'm still here.
You know, I'm just, sorry, the proof being the pudding. I'm telling you. So do you feel like marriage has to be complicated, or do you feel like marriage can be simple and kind of flow? How do you
oh yeah, it definitely can be simple and just flow. Because I mean, like, now I can't even remember the last time we argued or had a disagreement or anything. It's just like
well, here's the deal. There's no disagreement when you agree with everything. So there is no disagreement. So like I said earlier, I feel like she has really found a way to work with this man, and that is pretty much to let him do whatever the hell it is he does.
We just flow so well together. Everything is just like so smoothly. But again, it's all in how you take it. And I feel like so many women these days have to prove that they're right and they get the last word and all of that kind of stuff. And that doesn't even matter. All of that stuff is not even important.
Okay, so Eugene asked a question on Super Chat. He says, oh, where'd it go? He says, Miss Daniels, there was a song called Cater to You that some genetically modified females. What? I've never heard that one. Genetically modified females or modern women want to cancel. Do you somewhat model your part of your relationship after that song? Talking about the Destiny's Child.
What song is it? I don't know that song.
Cater to you. Let me cater to you. Cause baby, this is your day. Do anything for my man.
Oh yeah, I do. So I don't know I mean, like, I can't like recall all the words off the top of my head like that. But I mean, if I had to just go off the title, then I would say yes.
Okay, so they was having a fit. They said they was trying to cancel the song because they said it's
why? It's what?
They said it's oppression.
Here we go.
I'm telling you, and it sounds crazy, but that is literally how it goes. Like, now I don't know how to remove this. Uh-oh, hold on. So, okay. So what does everyday life look like? Like, what is the realistic? If you have a husband that is an entrepreneur or works a lot and stuff like that, what do you think is realistic when it comes to everyday life? Like, how is it a lot of time spent together? Is it a lot of work that you have to do? You know, what does it look like? Because I feel like in our minds, we think that it's supposed to be like, you know, flowers every single day, and you wake up and you piss unicorn tears and like, you know, how as women do you balance your everyday life and having a man that's kind of, you know, doing things?
So there's definitely a lot of work to it. And what people don't see is that 9 times out of 10, the wives are behind the scenes and what's keeping the scenes running. So like, I do everything. Like, I'm in charge of his calendar. I make sure all of his doctor's appointments, you know, are scheduled, that he, you know, get to him, that all of his time is, you know, allocated for where he's supposed.
Now listen to this, y'all. She said she's in charge of his calendar. Now, we've spoken about this before. We talked about the whole issue with them being in this weird relationship. Being, you know, in control of his calendar lets you know that what we heard Mika say was his wife was the one that got my plane ticket. So it seems like she has learned to accept this man's behavior.
To be, he on this call at this time, he got this meeting at this time. I make sure, you know, he's eating right, that he make time to go to the gym. You know, I do all of the household stuff as far as washing the clothes, cleaning up, cooking, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And when we first got married, we waited like 4 years before we had our daughter, but we also sat down and had the conversation. You know, if we have a child, I want to stay home and, you know, raise this child. I don't want to have to go send her to daycare and all of that. So I haven't worked in about 12, 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, I'm the man behind the scenes. Like, a lot of the businesses and stuff that he has, you know, I run a lot of those. When we had the restaurant, I ran the restaurant. So I mean, you know, like I feel like I work just as just as much as he does.
Right, right. So do you feel oppressed being?
When she said she worked just as hard as he does, I totally agree. But imagine working like you do, because it's pretty normal to have to clean up, wash clothes. Every single person does it, even the married people. So her staying in this relationship means at least she can just do those things and still don't have to worry about working. Although, you know, she's doing these minor tasks for, you know, her husband, Anton. She don't want to deal with doing everything she's doing now and getting a job, because if she were to go her separate way, you know, Anton may cut her off. Now she can go to court and do all of this, but even then you got to have money for an attorney, all sorts of things. So I feel like she's staying in this for monetary reasons. It doesn't give that she really wants to be there. It's strictly for the money.
His support and his helpmate?
No, not at all. Because I mean, like I'm
went back and did your own thing, or if you could do it all over again, would you still have been a helpmate to your husband?
definitely would have, because not only am I a helpmate to him, I'm also, you know, raising the type of daughter and woman that I want her to be. Like nobody else is raising her. You know, I'm here for everything that she does. And I mean, you know, now I'm in school, like I just started nursing school, but
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that you were like, I'm bored, think I'll go to nursing school.
Well, you know, it's something that I've always wanted to do. I just never like really had the time to do it. So now that I have some time, I'm like, yeah, like why not? So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. But yeah, like I would definitely do it all over again the exact same way, because I mean, like I want to reap the benefits of, you know, all of his work. And so all of the shopping I do and the traveling and all of that kind of stuff, like somebody got to work. So why not be the helpmeet, you know what I'm saying, to get him to the successes that he need? Like, you know, I'm talking to people's wives and getting him meetings and, you know, doing a lot of networking and everything.
Oh, tell us about that. Now, what's the formula?
She talking to people's wives. Yeah.
What's the formula for that? So you have a man and he has a certain niche that he's in or work he do, and you go to functions. Like how do you bring value and kind of parlay with the wives? And
I mean, like you don't just go in and be like, okay, I'm gonna get him some business today. I mean, it's just like you just be yourself. Like just be yourself, you know, have conversations, meet with them, y'all go out and have coffee, you know, you might go out to lunch, you know, like they become your friends, and then that turns into, you know, business meetings and business moves and all of that. It's no set formula, just be yourself. But at the same time, you can't be yourself with a bonnet on though.
So you're anti-bonnets.
I'm anti, yes, definitely.
I am also anti-bonnet. Do you wear a bonnet when you go to sleep?
Sometimes it depends on how my hair is.
So if you just got your hair laid for the gods, you might put a bonnet on?
Yes.
So how does Anton feel about that? Do he be like, why do you have on this bonnet? Or after 17 years, he like, child, boo.
He don't care. He don't care. As long as I'm not going outside with it, he don't care.
Right. Muhammad said he's donating to my mic funds. Y'all, I could have done this mic thing. I have somebody coming next month that's gonna set it up for me. Y'all know I am technology retarded. I don't know how to do that. and I have anxiety. Okay, I have tried to do the mic thing. I get anxiety attack immediately. I don't know how to do that. Somebody is coming next month and he is going to come set all this up and we will be good then. So unless y'all don't give me the money for the mic, because I'm still not buying, I'm still not picking it out, I'm still not buying it, and I'm still not setting it up. So unless one of y'all gonna come set it up and bring it in here, I don't want to hear y'all mouth because I'm not doing it. I get anxiety. Okay, so y'all gonna just get this work and y'all will be all right. Danica Marie, I'm so glad you're here. We're having our discussion on my wife archetype series, and you're going to be one of my wife archetype, by the way. I meant to tell you about that. See, I just put you on the
She said, I meant to tell you.
I meant to tell you. I'll be having you featuring you as well. But see, you can do that with your sister. It's like, hey, sis, I need you.
Right, of course. And we going to come through.
I pulled up. Okay, this house is little work. I'm like, sis, I need to pick your brain. And sis was like, say less.
Yep.
So no bonnets outside.
No.
Someone say you look like Christy Lampkin. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, somebody else told me that. I've heard that actually a few times before. I think it's just the mole, because I don't really think I look like her. I think it's just the mole.
I think it's the complexion. No, I see it.
Really?
Yeah, I see it. Oh, thank you, Kenya. I sent us $50. All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all gonna stop hating on my microphone. Thank you, MIG. He says, shout out to Miss Daniels, and 6, please continue teaching these genetically modified women how to be organic women.
That's funny. I've never heard that before.
I haven't either, but I think that is so funny to me. So, okay. So you're saying, so basically what you're saying is, you know, when you go to these business meetings and stuff, don't just sit there in the corner like this. You're saying that you want to talk to people.
Yes,
show
definitely.
Your personality, talk to other women.
Definitely. Yeah. You want to get out there. You want to put yourself out there. You know, just have a good time. Be yourself. But yeah, you definitely can't just sit in the corner and expect it to come to you or fall in your lap. You know, you have to put in some kind of work.
Okay. So now this is, I'm going to wrap up here, but this is a question I have, because this is why I really wanted to have you on here. So your story on how you became married is unconventional. Okay.
Okay.
There are so many aspects in the story where so many women that I know present day would have been like, So what do you say to women who feel like, I know you mentioned, you know, you want to build with a man. I've always felt like building with a man may not mean that you literally picking up a hammer and nails. Normally what it can mean is you are being support to the man and not being a hindrance to the man. And
Definitely.
Make it easier for the man to build.
Yes,
Not
definitely make it
you got to
easier.
Right.
Yep.
So the man builds, and so many women I feel where they go wrong is they become a hindrance in the man building, and that's why the man tends to buck back. So what would you say to the women who say a woman is a pick-me if she says that she is willing to build and kind of grow with her man?
I mean, honest. So all the people that are saying that, since you're not doing that, is what you're doing, is that working for you? Is that working? Is it working, or are you still single?
I feel like, you know, if we use Rita's strategy, I think everybody would have a man. If you look at, you know, a lot of the way relationships are going compared to how they went 10 and 15 years ago, it's very different, because I feel like, you know, women have really decided that we don't have to always be in a relationship. And I feel like that came from us prioritizing relationships and just not having them work. I feel like it came from women doing exactly what she is doing now and just not having it work. So I don't believe that to be necessarily true, because anybody can get a dog a Negro, like anybody, like they are available. But I believe that, you know, women are in a place where they are really tired of feeling like you have to have a man. Like, we don't need a man to buy a house. We don't need a man to do a lot of things. While it would be good to have one. I think we are in a place where we are happy. We feel free. We don't feel burdened down with a bunch of bullshit and problems. And I feel like that's why you see a lot of women moving so closer toward making more money, going to school, because at the end of the day, all we really wanted to do was, take care of our families. But, a lot of us, and I don't want to go out on a tangent, even when we were in these relationships where we helped the man, whoever we were with, build, in some instances, it didn't always work out to our benefit. So when we left those relationships, what did we have to do now? Build for ourselves. So I don't agree with her. I just don't.
So I think, here's the thing. People need to, or I'll say women need to stay off of social media so much. Look at you. Look at you.
I feel like you should have just dropped the mic and just walked off after you said that.
Women need to stay off of social media. Girl, some of these women is making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 on social media. We're not sitting around waiting on a dog, a Negro.
I should have had it. I should have had one of Anton's hoodies to put on, right? Like he do when he on his shows when he choose violence. I should have had a hoodie.
See, you woke up and chose immediate violence. Well, I just lost my edges. Okay, so now elaborate on that.
It's true though. I just feel like, if what you're doing is not working, why not try something else? Why not try what somebody else is doing? Why not try to build with a man? Why not humble yourself and see?
No, ma'am, we don't want what you have.
If that works for you, because what you're doing clearly is not working. But I also think that women need to stay off of social media.
I feel like looking like a fool, it ain't working for you either.
And stop looking at, what everybody else is doing and all of these celebrities that's saying, you don't need a man and you can do this by yourself and all of that kind of stuff. Like, no, like we were not meant to be alone. Like we need men. Like we need men. Like that's just it. It's just that's just how it goes. Like it is what it is.
We need men. No, honey, you need a man. We don't need men. It would be great in an ideal situation to be, to have somebody, but we don't want to fight for this shit no more. We feel like we are good enough. So no, we don't need a man. We might want one. You might need one.
But I just feel like that in this day and age, women really need to humble themselves and stop trying to be the man and let the man be the man.
And so
now I agree with that. But see, right now I'm thinking of Rita and looking at her from a different lens, because of course women need to stay in their places. But, ma'am, you out here looking like a fool. I know this video was 4 years in the past. But yeah, I feel like you knew a lot about what your husband was doing. So you telling women what to do is looking real crazy and stupid, because we don't want to hear from you. Okay. We don't want to hear from you when your man is clearly out here tricking with somebody that don't even look like you.
And so then when you make up the decision in your mind to do that, I feel like you attract a man who will be a man.
Definitely.
I think if you're so busy in the masculine mindset, I think that makes women attract feminine men.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I agree.
That think like that, their next thing out their mouth is, well, he got to be a man. Well, how you going to attract you a whole nigga? You know what I'm saying? Like, you might need to be more of a woman like that way you can attract.
That's odd. She said a man that's feminine, because that's exactly what her husband is. Feminine.
A man who can be a man and you can be a woman.
Yep. 100% agree.
I agree, my sister, and this is why this conversation was so valuable. Like, you dropped some gems on us, and I'm just over here with snatch edges. And if I had a wig, it would be crooked right now. Like, my ponytail almost fell off during this conversation. But I feel like for sisters like yourself, because it's one thing to be married, and it's one thing to be married for 17 years.
Yeah, okay? I agree.
So, again, the proof is in the pudding. I feel like so many sisters are not vocal enough, like, talk to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we respect what you have to say, again, because you have the resume behind it. You have the portfolio behind it. I wanted you to come on here so the women could see a chocolate sister that is in shape, that's feminine, that takes care of herself, that is married, has been married, is happily married, is a helpmate to her husband, and she still was able to do the things she wanted to do. You had to kickstart things with you and your husband, get your daughter birthed, now she's older, and you were still able to do the things you wanted to do. But now it's not, I gotta study for my exams, I gotta get this job and finish school and make
right.
Now it's like, bored, think I'll go to nursing school. So I wanted the ladies to see, we get very stuck in this negative mindset. It's possible, ladies. And we see it right here. And these are the type of conversations I want to have, so we can start to reshape this reality and reshape, not the reality, but reshape the facade and reshape it into reality, that there is a way it can work. It doesn't have to be abusive and controlling. It doesn't have to be that you're miserable and you're oppressed. And it can be that when you just handle your business as a woman, that it can lead to peace, and it does not have to be complicated, and you can be happy. You know, so I want to thank you for coming on here and talking to us. I think it was very healthy for the ladies to see.
Well, guys, that is pretty much the end of the video. Shout out to Six, the goddess. This is an interview that she did some time ago. And y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. It's very interesting that Anton, his wife, said that he's not abusive. Y'all remember this video?
Oh, wow. Times it can be hard and sad and difficult because Anton has a lot of different personalities, and so you have to be a certain type of woman to deal with. Anton is very emotional. He doesn't communicate effectively. I don't think that he has killed anybody before. I think he's capable. I've seen him angry before. He's just like a totally different person. When he's angry, he blacks out.
And so he, asked me for my phone number. I gave it to him.
Wait a minute, wait. Don't skip over this.
What?
So, how long were y'all in the same class before he asked for the number? Was it first day of class? Had y'all built up
I think it was so long ago. I think it was the first day of class, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, snap.
I'm almost certain it was the first day of class. Yeah.
Oh, snap. So the first day of class, he was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So he asked for your number. You didn't ask for his number.
No.
Okay.
No. He asked for my number. Definitely asked for my number.
Okay.
And so he called me, I think, that night. And, we was talking on the phone just regularly, maybe 10 minutes into the conversation. This disrespectful man, I don't know if I can say this on here, so I'll try to say it without saying it. He says, so do you give oral? But he actually said, the words. So I'm like, wait, what did you?
Stop.